the fundamental fact here is that we finally understood that the money we've been, lied to believe that was actually, valuable, was in fact, a very well crafted Ponzi scheme that, by design, has to go down to zero, because the only way it survives is by continuously printing it to oblivion, which is what we're seeing here. Governments, they excuse inflation as just a normal part of life, but that's not what it is. It's just their way of quietly justifying stealing from you, hoping that you won't notice. At the beginning, it was so small that nobody really cared. But now, when we're reaching towards the end of that Ponzi scheme, you have to be completely like blind or living under a rock to miss as to how expensive things have become. And there's a reason for it. It didn't just happen because merchants woke up one day deciding, they want to charge 5 times more for the same item. It's because the value of that worthless piece of paper that, you slave for all day has gone down and is going to continue to go down, because government spending and inefficiency is not going anywhere. It's only going to get exponentially worse. And as it does, they're only going to get even more creative in finding ways to steal from you. So when you go to a job and you're working 9 to 5, if you do the math, you are essentially working most of that day right now for free. One, because the money that you're getting paid in has lost X amount of its value. And if I'm being like conservative here, I'd say around 20% of its value, depending where you live. Most places it's more than that. So right off the bat, you're earning 20% less in purchasing power. Then they tax you on it. Or depending where you live, that can be 40, 50%. So if you take that 20% debasement and you add on top of it that 50% tax, what's left at the end of the day for you? Nothing, right? So you've gone to work 9 to 5, but from 9 to 3, you've been working for free, if you do the math based on these calculations, right? So this is what's happening. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I just have to get another job. No, you don't. Because no matter how many jobs you get, how many hours you put in, you cannot win against a system that is rigged, that is designed, you understand, by design, it's created to steal from you. You can't win. It's a waste of effort. And so you need people to realize this before you drive yourself completely crazy and lose your entire purchasing power entirely, simply because you can no longer keep up. This is what we're starting to see happening, and this is why inflation is one of the worst things that you can go through, because it's that invisible theft. Like, you don't see it happening until you walk into the store, and then that same dozen eggs now all of a sudden is equivalent to a down payment on a car one day. That doesn't make any sense, right? It's not normal. It's not logical. It's not the way the world's supposed to work. But this is the result of a Ponzi, the fiat system. And that's not just isolated to Australia. It's worldwide. Every single fiat currency is based on the same Ponzi, which is why they are all going to zero, which is why you see nations crumble under devalued currencies, because those in charge, the thieves in charge, essentially, print money so that they can live for free at your expense. That's what we're seeing happen. And we have an option now to opt out. I know it sounds surreal. I know it sounds too good to be true when you hear about it for the first time. But Bitcoin is not magic internet money. It's not a fairy tale, that somebody on the internet is just talking about all day. This is real, and it's not going anywhere. And so, for the first time in history, there is an option, an actual sound money that every living soul can opt into, where you actually save your time and energy in a way that no human being, no government, no company, no one in this universe can take away from you unless you give it up. But since it's new, we have to learn how to use it. That's it. It's not rocket science. It's not nuclear physics. It's not Mission Impossible. It's just a series of steps, anywhere between 5 to 9 steps that you need to learn. And once you do, once it clicks, it's like riding a bicycle. It's no big deal anymore, irrespective of the amount of money that you are holding, whether it's 100 or 100 million, it's the same steps. They don't change. So I'm hoping a lot more people will wake up to this rather than continuously finding excuses as to, why their lives are miserable and how creative they're going to be in order to save themselves. It's a dead end. It's a waste of effort. No matter how energetic you are, no matter how clever you think you are, you're going to hit a wall at some point because there's only so many hours in a day and you need to sleep for some of them. It's a rigged Ponzi. So take a step back, think smart rather than continuously working hard, and find a way to regain, the control over your life and improve its quality and its standards.
I completely agree with that. Of course, Tony, we've had many long-form conversations, but a couple of things when you reference Bitcoin, you said it's not magic internet money. And then when you're talking in regards to fiat currency, you said fiat currency is a Ponzi scheme. Now, very recently, just this week, we had an Australian Senator Jared Rennick, and been trying to connect with him and educate him on Bitcoin for many, many months, well before the election. Too busy, not interested, etc., etc. Anyway, somebody put out a post in regards to Bitcoin, and Rennick, I'm paraphrasing completely, but said, like, I'd rather buy housing. You can live in a house and you cannot eat a Bitcoin. And then he referenced Bitcoin as the Ponzi scheme, where Bitcoiners say fiat is the Ponzi scheme. People closer to the money printer are now saying Bitcoin's the Ponzi scheme. How would you explain to someone that's coming with a lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge, that, look, what reasons is Bitcoin not a Ponzi scheme?
When I saw that tweet, I couldn't believe my eyes. I can't believe that someone, a public figure, is actually posting something so moronic. I mean, you can't eat Bitcoin? Well, how about somebody serve him a dish of Australian dollars with a side order of gold nuggets? Let's see how well he eats those. I mean, what kind of a stupid remark is that to make? Bitcoin is backed up by energy, right? It's energy. You cannot manipulate this. Fiat is backed up by a money printer and the trust me, bro, of the people in government saying that it has value. They live for free while you slave all day long for that same worthless piece of paper. No one can create more Bitcoin. It's enshrined in code from now to the end of time, 21 million. No matter who says what, no matter what they try to do, no matter what they try to spew, 21 million, no one's going to change that. It's unconfiscatable, uncorruptible, can't manipulate it. The only thing you can do with it is hold it and use it as money, because that's what it is. It's money. And the more people use it as money, the more decentralized it continues to be and the stronger it gets, which is exactly what is going on now globally. This is why Bitcoin's store of value is continuously rising. It's because more and more people are adopting it as money instead of that worthless toilet paper, that is printed by governments and central banks. So Bitcoin is not a scheme. It's not a get rich, trick. And unfortunately, if you don't want to believe any of this, just look at who is killing themselves now to buy it. It's governments, institutions. Why are they doing this if it's such a funny money, bullshit, fairy tale internet scam? It's because, unfortunately, they understand that it's not. And they also understand that their product, that fiat rubbish, is going to zero. And so the only way they're going to, preserve their own wealth or their own relevancy to a certain degree is by opting out into something they know they can hold on to, but more importantly, they know that none of their enemies can have an advantage over them with. This is why I believe that the Bitcoin is going to become the world reserve currency. There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind this is happening. For that simple fact that governments don't trust each other, not a single one. So they are never, ever going to standardize on something they know someone else has more of compared to them. So that's the great thing about Bitcoin. It doesn't matter how much of it you own. You don't even have to own a full Bitcoin. You have to own as much as you can, as long as you save your money in a currency that cannot be debased. So whether you own $1 billion of Bitcoin or $100, your decision-making power over the network is a big fat zero. So governments can't change the rules, governments can't ban it, governments can't regulate it, governments can't do anything. So all those that are, fearful of, those crazy ideas, get them out of your head. It's not possible. We know it, they know it. They don't like that more people are becoming aware of it either. But that is a fact. It's an unchangeable thing right now. So there's a choice to make. You either do nothing and, hope people like myself are wrong, and then wait till everything collapses, and then you have to, figure out what to do next. Or you can take some time, do a little bit of reading. There's plenty of good material out there. Ask some intelligent questions and quickly understand that if you do nothing, you are headed to what I lived through in 2019 in Lebanon, when I woke up one night to the next with a big fat zero, when the banks seized everybody's life savings overnight. Now, if you think this is not going to happen because you live in a certain location, it's a delusion. You are committing financial suicide, because all it takes is for 5 minutes of serious attention to seeing what's happening in the monetary global system to understand that Lebanon was not the exception. It was the rule. And this is coming to every bloody city around the planet. No exceptions.